but I think it's unlikely. Not necessarily because it's not good money. It would be probably the best money to use silver. But it's more about the practicality of it. The practicality for the safety reasons. We just wrapped up another community coffee talk in the school community that we have. And awesome points that you guys made. So one that really stuck with me was that why was cash always used during hyperinflation, even in Romania? And I also shared the story that a person shared when he lived in Argentina during hyperinflation. One of his observation was that cash was still used during hyperinflation for trading goods and services. And that's how just things are. And one of the things that we mentioned was that people just always used that. And they were, even during hyperinflation, that they could never move away from it, because that is the currency that they always used. So sometimes we commit the cardinal sin of trying to understand the world by projecting ourselves into the other person, thinking the other person has the same reasoning capability, the logic, and what we have, maybe IQ, and trying to see like, why does that person make this stupid choice? And you don't understand it. And the reason is because they're not you. They have other lived experiences. Maybe they have a more simple life. Maybe they have more complex lives, but they have always used cash. And even as cash is deteriorating, they are still using cash during hyperinflation, where it was losing its value like 50% a month. So what did we do? Why did we do it back then? Why did the people in Argentina still use cash during hyperinflation? You wanted to store your wealth in something else, but then, exchange that something else. Like in our case, it was the Deutschmark, later the euro, and just stored it in Deutschmark, stored it in euros, the foreign currency that we had back then. And then we exchanged enough into Romanian lei, where that would be enough for that week. Maybe that would be enough for that month, and exchanged Romanian lei for goods and services. It was almost like you never even want to get caught with euros in your pocket, because somebody would almost assume that you have more of it. You would have more of it, so they would like potentially know that your, hyperinflation didn't hurt you as much as it did them. So you were at risk. You always wanted some Romanian lei during the Romanian hyperinflation in your pocket. And that's it. That is what you always use. So some of the fantasies that, other channels have, that you are exchanging silver or gold or something like that for every day. Look, it may become true, especially with silver in the United States, if that has a history of it. But I think it's unlikely. Not necessarily because it's not good money. It would be probably the best money to use silver. But it's more about the practicality of it. The practicality for the safety reasons. It was always just safer to have something that everyone else has, so you don't stick out from the community. Okay, so you have to fake to be as dumb as the general public to be able to hide within the general public. I have a saying where a tree can hide best in the forest. You have to become a tree to be able to hide in the forest during hyperinflation. Okay, and that's why, like say, the only goal that you should probably have, even within the same jurisdiction as you, just to be safe, is only a few wedding bands or jewelry, because that is something that is owned by the majority of the people anyway. So when you're going to sell off that wedding band that you want to trade to currency so you can use the currency during hyperinflation, nobody actually knows you have 10 pairs of it. It's way safer to do that than go with an ounce of gold that is now worth a house, or at least an apartment in a city, which will become true, right? There's no reason for you to have gold or silver in your house, even now. It's just unreasonable. Why would you have that? It's just risk. You may even have to leave the house, right? It doesn't make sense. Sure, you want to have invested in gold. Sure, you want to have it somewhere else in the country. But other than, having maybe 5 pairs of wedding bands or something like that, there's no reason to have it. So that was a quite interesting conversation we had. In the StartPath school community, we talk about many, many things. Prepping is only just probably 1/8 of the content that we're doing. It is way more important to talk about mental and spiritual resilience, health, food, family, homeschooling, because that is the stuff that you are. You're not just here to save some value in a collapsing world. You're not just here to produce monetary value for your family. You are a man. You're a father. People need you. You cannot be replaced by monetary numbers. So whatever comes, whatever happens, hopefully in this group, we can be here for you. All right. Talk to you next time.